Welcome. Sit down, roll up, pour up, turn up and tune in. Because you're now watching the Buncher Bull Network.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the world's dopest podcast, the Marley State of Mind podcast, down here at a Bunch of Bull Studios as we are every Saturday. And tonight, I got a special guest in the building, my man Skyloc from Richie Rich Clothing. What's going on with you, brother?
What's happening?
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I can't complain, man.
Real Rich Clothing. Let me go ahead and correct myself, man. I got my man Skyloc in here with Real Rich brand. And we're going to get into it, man. I like to kick it off with how I was introduced to the individual, the creative that I have on the podcast. As you and I was talking offline, I know you since we was kids, grew up in the same town, came up doing the same things. And, and the fact that we're here now at this point in life where we've been able to make a pivot, because we was off into some things, some things that young men get into. And we've been able to make a pivot and change it around and use our experiences that we learned from the streets, right, and apply them in a different way, right? Yeah. It's good to have you here, part of the program, and to tell us about the brand.
Bless.
So, for you, man, like starting this journey, like, what made you think to even build a clothing brand, bro? Because I don't want to call it merch because it's bigger than that. It's a whole brand.
Yeah. Well, what made me build is because I think, first of all, because, growing up, we was always fly diggers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I always stayed in the flyest clothes,
right,
flyest gear. So, I might have came from the streets because, when I was in the streets, every time we go out, every time we do this and that and the third, we going to the mall.
Yeah, to get right first.
And get right first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was always there in my mind like, damn, you know what I mean? We doing fashion, so when I wanted to do something legal, I'm like, shit, well, why not start a fashion brand?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when it hit me. I'm like, shit, why not do fashion?
Yeah, so what inspired the name, Real Rich?
Shit, what inspired it was, because who don't want to be real rich?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
it's like think it, be it type thing.
Yeah, like think it, be it. Like
manifest it.
Real rich.
Yeah.
Like manifest it. You know what I mean? It's like, who don't want to be real rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was thinking it was like, it's something that's scalable, and I can give you some scaling game on that. When you're building a brand, you want to make sure you can scale it.
Right, you don't want to be one-dimensional.
You don't want to be one-dimensional because real rich can mean the money, but it can mean you real rich in education.
Right.
You real rich in
friendship, love.
You real rich, yeah. So it can mean multiple things.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
it don't just have to be one thing.
Yeah,
when you think of real rich, you don't want it to be just bread people were thinking about.
Yeah, it don't gotta be just that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be multiple things that you real rich in.
And it's a lifestyle too, right?
And a lifestyle.
When you're talking about real rich, it's a certain lifestyle that you think about that comes with real rich.
Like rich chocolate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, multiple things it can mean, and that's the first thing I thought of whenever I seen you with the brand and I seen you doing it. I was like, man, that's a good name because I can see it being a lifestyle brand, and I like how you came out with the logo. Now, whenever you started the process, like that had to be a lot, right? That had to be a learning curve to figure out how do I get merch, how do I get designs, how do I get that? How did you start digging into the process of starting the brand? Where did you start at from day one? Like, what was the first thing you started with?
Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram. I started on Instagram because I knew, like Instagram, they always say the algorithms, or however you say that.
Algorithm, yeah, that's it.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
So I knew whatever you search, that's what I was going to ping back to you.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm in the fashion business, so I always just was searching fashion shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Manufacturers and all that shit. So next thing you know, you started getting hit back. People started following you and people started hitting you back, manufacturers.
Damn, that's
Hit me
dope.
back.
So you started doing most of your networking to start the brand straight from Instagram, straight from social media.
Straight from social media, yep.
Damn. So, and that's the funny thing. Like we was talking a little bit about Wallow, and I think the dope thing about Wallow, right? He got out and he said the power of the phone. He said I had no idea,
Man, the
or
power of the
he
phone.
said people don't have
Man,
any idea how much power they have right in their hand.
yeah, they don't understand. Like,
Right.
this shit right here is powerful.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm not on there for just
Entertainment.
entertainment. I'm on there for information.
Right.
Like, okay, so what's my algorithm? Like,
Yeah.
what am I searching? Because you already know. That's like if you search women all day,
That's what's
showing
gonna
their
pop
ass
up.
and doing this is going to pop up.
Right.
So I ain't do that.
You searching for manufacturers now? Manufacturers popping it up crazy.
Boom.
Yeah.
And that's how I caught one. I'm like, okay, I like what you're doing. And, you know, that's how I caught one. And fortunately, I caught a good one
Yeah.
from the start. So I'm blessed.
Right. So it wasn't a lot of trial and error from the beginning.
It wasn't a lot of trial and error from the beginning.
Yeah.
My first one I hit up, I've been dealing with him the whole time. Like the manufacturer I'm dealing with now, I've been dealing with him since my first drop.
Damn. And how long? Because you've been doing this for a while now.
4 years. This is
4 years.
This is my 4th year right here.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So 4 years strong, and you said you still messing with the same manufacturer you started with. How did you come up with the logo? What made you come up with the logo for Real Rich?
You know what's so crazy is I came up with the logo. It's because it's like I said I wanted to start a luxury brand. And then when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, what's luxury?
What comes to your mind when you think of luxury? Yeah.
And you know what came to my mind? The Rolls Royce.
Okay.
The
As soon as you
Rolls
started
Royce.
saying that, that's what started coming to my mind too.
The
I can
Rolls
see
Royce.
it. Yeah.
I'm like the Rolls Royce. That's why I always, if you see, my tagline is the Rolls Royce of fashion.
Ooh. Okay.
So I looked at the Rolls Royce. I'm like, ooh, that's luxury. So I'm like, okay, that's hard. They got the double R's, you know what I mean, and all that. Okay, so their double R's is Rolls Royce. So I'm like, ooh, my double R's are gonna be real rich.
Yeah.
So that's when I said, okay, Rolls Royce of fashion.
Now, how many designs did you go through before you landed on what you landed on with the logo?
Probably like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 5 different designs. And they're fly, because I still might use a couple.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fly. Yeah, but I'm sticking with this one because, you know, you got to
Get some recognition. You want
get some recognition.
You want some
gotta,
name brand recognition.
Yeah, you got to stick it in their brain. So after this, I might do something different. I might go back to them 5 I seen, because trust and believe, this wasn't the hardest one.
Right.
But it was like, okay, I'll fuck with this one right now.
That was the one that spoke to you.
Spoke to me at that moment.
Right.
But you know what I mean? There might be some shit that speak to me
Later on down the line. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yep.
Yeah. So you went through a couple different logos, and was that process similar when you were looking to design a logo? Did you go to Instagram to find different graphic designers?
You know what? No, I didn't go to Instagram for that. Now this is where I learned. Now this is where I say that I learned from my mistakes, because I didn't go to Instagram for my logo, because I created my logo before I started trying to find a manufacturer.
Okay.
You got to do that. You got to think about that first.
So would that be some advice that you would give to somebody coming up?
Yeah. I
had a logo together before you even get there.
Yeah. The advice I would give is find your logo and all that on Instagram first.
Okay.
Because it's cheaper. Because I did it the old school way. Because I ain't know. So I'm going to, because a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to tell you this is the trial and error. I paid like $700 for my logo. But to kind of find out, I could have paid only like 50. But I didn't know, because I was going through the old system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the old system is where I'm talking to people on the phone. They're not on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're like, you want 5 different fonts? Yeah, I want 5 different fonts. Well, that's going to be like $700.
So it's a lot more back and forth in that process.
A lot more back and forth, where I could have just went on Instagram and been like, okay, I need a logo. That shit might have only cost less than $100.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's some game right there. Is just go on Instagram and get you a logo. You know what I mean? Because logos is easy. And I'm going to give you some more game. The logo ain't even important. You want me to tell you what's important?
What's that?
the name,
Mm.
Real Rich. I didn't know that at first.
What made you realize that or make that connection? How did you come to find that out?
When I went to trademark my logo,
Okay.
cause they was like, when I went to trademark my logo, they was like, okay, so you want to trademark your logo? Yeah, I want to trademark my logo. So they was like, okay, what's the name? Real Rich. Okay, yeah. So now to kind of find out is that fuck the logo. The name Real Rich is what needs to be trademarked,
Right.
not the logo.
Yeah.
Because you can put different logos to Real Rich.
Rich. Yeah.
It
Now
don't gotta,
that
it
is
don't
interesting.
Gotta, it don't gotta be this. As long as I own Real Rich, I can put whatever
You can-
logo to that.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know that. Now, that is game, right? Because when I think of that, I think of like Pepsi, for example. I think of the whole shebang. But I didn't realize that the trademarking is really in the name. It's not.
In the
It's
name.
not the symbol.
It's not the symbol. 'Cause,
Right.
you can change the logo. That's nothing. But as long as you own the name, Real Rich.
Yeah.
That's what's
Can't
important.
nobody do nothing with that.
Yeah, and I ain't know that. I'm thinking I got to trademark a logo.
Right.
They're like, no, the name, Real Rich. Because that's what's going to, when you go trademark it, that's what they're going to look for. Okay, there's Real Rich available.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've been through the process 4 years now, and you started from scratch, right? The whole way from scratch with the process. What was the biggest learning curve in the process, coming from not doing it at all, not being involved in merch at all, to immersing yourself in it head first? What was the biggest learning curve in the business? Because like we said, you was in the streets, did the street stuff, so business.
Yeah.
You just know it from a different end. But what was the real learning curve when going into merch?
The real learning curve.
Was it learning how to get to manufacturing? Was it
No,
selling on? Was it selling online? Setting up online?
No, I'm going to say probably the real learning curve was probably, hold on, I got to think on this for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. You can take your time. It's your time. Got Skyloc in the house of Real Rich. But while we thinking about it, tell the people how to get a hold of you if they wanna grab some merch, if they wanna follow you, your journey, they wanna see what you got going on, they wanna see new designs and logos popping up. How can they go about doing that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at RRFashion1000 on Instagram. You know what I mean? You can DM me. You know what I mean? For, the merch and all that.
Yeah.
The website, I'm currently redoing that again. You know what I mean? But I had a website coming soon, real soon. But yeah, Instagram.
But they can stay on Instagram and they'll be able to be tuned into all the things you got upcoming.
You be tuned in to everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
RRFashion1000.
Yeah, hell yeah. Make sure y'all tap in with that.
Yeah. But I'll say the learning curve was let the merchandise fly. I'll say because at the beginning I was just chasing the money.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't if you ain't had the money to pay for it, I'm like, man, I'm not selling you no merch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I or if they had less than what I wanted for it, I'm like, man, if you ain't got the full price, man, you can't get this.
Yeah.
But I say that was the biggest learning curve. Like, nah, because at the end of the day, you're always gonna have merch available at every drop. You're not gonna sell everything.
Right.
So if I'm not selling everything, if I'm gonna give you a half price when I got half of it left, why not give you half price when I got a full?
Why you at the top of it? Yeah.
Because I'm always gonna have some shit left over anyway.
Right. You already know
So
what's
I'm gonna do it at the leftover stage anyway. So why don't I do it at the beginning stage?
Do it at the front end. Yeah.
Yeah. Why wait till? So now the learning curve is. So now if I'm selling some shit for 100 and you got 70, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Go ahead and run it.
Yeah, why run that?
Yeah. No, and the thing about that too, once you get into that aspect of it, and you letting the merch fly, you know what I mean, people, it's also promotion for you as well, right? That's free promo for you. I mean, it's not even free promo. It's promo you getting paid for because you sold them the merch. Now they're a walking billboard for what you're doing.
Facts.
How much has that helped you? Like just name this word of mouth. How much has that helped you out in business?
Man, tremendously.
Yeah.
Tremendously. I mean, really, word of mouth is what got me. Cause you got to think. I looked up growing up, I looked up to all the like the Master
Peas,
P's
yeah, yep,
and the fucking babies after that.
yeah,
One
yep,
thing I realized is like word of mouth is everything. Like going out to Trump,
yep.
symbolically, so to speak.
Right,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, it's like you won't believe. Like I get more sales word of mouth than I do promoting on Instagram or
yeah.
promoting.
I believe that. I
You know
believe
what I
that.
mean?
Just
Like,
people seeing it on someone else is like, yo, where'd you get
yeah,
that from?
yeah. Like where you get that from? Like some of my repeated customers is off of word of mouth.
Yeah, my homie, I had shout out Cash Cow. I had my homie Romo in here, and he said something similar. He was like, people like to see different shit too. Like, cause everybody got on Gucci, you know what I mean? Especially he said like in places where people be having that shit on, everybody got on Gucci, everybody got Balenci's, everybody got a Miri, but they see something different. Like, damn, what's that, bro? I ain't see
Yeah,
that before. You got that real? What's that? Real rich? Where you
yeah,
get that
facts.
from? Do you find that to
Facts.
be the case? Do you find that the fact that you're unique, the fact that you're something different, appeals to other people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it appeals.
yeah,
I mean, tremendously, man. It's like, and because, and they're my best promotion.
right.
Cause they know like my quality is crazy. Like you got to think, I came from the streets, right? And one thing I say, the game I got from the streets is the quality. So when I came in the game, I'm like,
Quality of product.
and how they say it in the streets, your product gonna sell itself.
Yeah, yep.
So my shit sell itself. Like all I gotta do is get you in it.
Right.
Once you wear my shit,
You coming back?
you coming back. Like real good crack.
Yeah.
Like a fiend. Like man, you coming back.
Yeah.
Like yeah, this is some good work.
Yeah, and I think the thing about fashion that makes fashion so special, it's like it's a way into a conversation, right? It's an icebreaker. You might not know someone, and you two might just be at the bus stop together. Like, damn, what's that, bro? I like that shit right there. And all of a sudden, you got a whole conversation just based off the fashion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's so
Fact.
many times that you have icebreakers like that. There's just some things that bond people in the world. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a sneakerhead and you see another sneakerhead and they got on a certain pair of J's, that's a conversation starter. You know what I mean? Or if
Mm-hmm.
you're a smoker and you see another smoker and you got something in the air, that's a conversation starter. You know what I mean? So the same holds true for fashion. You know what I mean? If you know somebody that got that shit on and you be putting that shit on, what's that, bro?
Yeah.
Put me down with
Yeah.
that.
And everybody know me. I just don't wear certain shit.
Right.
Like I don't wear like man, like literally, man, I'll tell you the truth. I ain't been shopping in 4 years since I had this brand. I wear my own shit. Cause my shit, I feel like, come on, man, my shit just like Nike. Like for instance, you let's say take the real rich off of this. It can be Nike.
You
My
wouldn't know the
shit the same
difference.
quality.
Yeah, you wouldn't
You
know the
wanna know the
difference.
difference.
Yeah.
What's the
And I see you
difference?
got the socks on too.
The socks. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
yeah, the socks and shit, motherfucking boxers.
You ain't playing.
I got the boxers. You know what I mean? I don't play like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know about doing nothing small.
And like you said, you found this business to be something that you could scale, right? Now tell us about that process. How did you even get to thinking about scaling the business? Was this something that you were focused on at the beginning of it, or is it something that you had to come to learn to find out?
No, I was focused on that scaling from the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I realized that, and this is some game for y'all. When you starting a business, one thing you got to think is this business scalable?
Right.
Because if it ain't scalable, then I mean, don't take my advice for it. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you if you want to take it or not. But for me, if a business is not scalable, I don't want to fuck with it.
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because, like,
You can only go so far
you
with
can
one
only
thing.
go so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why would you not want a business that you can't scale?
Right.
You know what I mean? So me, I always say that you want to scale. You want to make sure you have a scalable business.
So from the very beginning, you knew that you wanted to get into the whole line of clothing. It wasn't just shirts. It wasn't just shorts. You knew you wanted to get into the whole shit.
Yep. From the beginning, I said, this is the only time, and this, I'm gonna tell you something. This is the realest shit I ever said, and I ain't never said this before. When I was in the streets, I never ever said I wanted to be the biggest drug dealer.
Yeah.
I never said that. But when I got into the clothing line, when I got into the clothing business, I said I want to be one of the biggest clothing brands. Like I want to be. Well, I said I want to be one of the biggest clothing brands from where I'm from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole PA.
Right.
And when I said that, okay, so if I had that in my mind, I gotta have everything.
Right.
'Cause
Like
I see,
what would qualify you for it being the biggest business is the fact that you got to have everything. That's what you're saying. I
what you
feel
mean? What would qualify? What
no,
you
that's
mean?
that. So you're saying what would make you the biggest is having everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. No, and I feel that. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't compete with the
How you gonna be
Nikes
the
and all that.
biggest if you ain't got everything?
Right. Exactly.
Cause that's like, for instance, now I'm about to come out. My next drop is gonna be jackets.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm about to have the real rich jackets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So
You're trying to
man,
tackle every end of it.
I'm trying to tackle every end of it.
Now, when you first started off, even though you knew you wanted to be scalable, was it something that you did right away, or did you just start with a certain niche? Did you just start with shirts? Did you just start with shorts? Did you just start with one thing, or did you just jump right into it with everything?
I started with one thing. I can only afford one thing at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started when I got out of jail.
Yeah.
I was locked up, so I can only start with hoodies. I think my first drop, I started with hoodies. That's all I had. I
Is
had
that
hoodies.
is that something you was thinking about while you was in jail? Was this something that you knew you wanted to do then?
That's where I formulated the plan at.
Okay.
I formulated the plan. I formulated the plan when I was locked up, when I was in jail.
No, that's good, and that's good to talk about. Like, I definitely want to round
Yeah.
out to that because, you know, what I
I
mean,
formulated that when I was locked up.
whenever you're in there, you can do a lot of things with your time, right?
Yeah,
You could waste time.
you can waste time,
You can spend time educating yourself on something,
or you can spend your time educating yourself on something. Read books,
and that's what you decided to do.
and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
read.
important was that to the rehabilitation of you, of keeping you out of jail? Like you said, you know, what I mean, you've been out of jail this long now. You know, what I mean, you ain't even thinking about no knucklehead shit or trying to
Nah,
fuck with nobody who's on that type time. Even
nah.
has
Hell
has
no.
this been important to that process of your growth?
Yeah, it's been tremendous. It's like I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Like a lot of people don't know is I done took a couple college courses.
Nice.
Yeah, like I think my first college course I took was and it's crazy because I hated education growing up. Like I was not school and all that shit. That wasn't me.
Wasn't you? Yeah.
But as I grew and got older, I'm like, oh shit, education is important
Yeah.
to what you want to do. But the thing is, you got to cater to what you want to do, not just educate general.
Not just
education.
general. Yeah. Exactly.
Focus toward what you want to do. If you want to be in the fashion business, so I started educating myself on
Fashion. Right.
and business.
There's no reason for you to learn algebra
Yeah.
when it comes to
Yeah,
fashion.
why would I learn algebra when I'm
Right.
trying to do fashion?
I think like to circle on that, I think that's what's wrong with the educational system a lot is kids get bored learning stuff that they're never going to utilize, right?
Never gonna utilize, bro.
I'm sure for you, you know what I mean, don't let me speak on your behalf, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure for you that's probably what it was a lot of times. Like, I'm not going to use this shit. What am I doing
I'm not
anyway?
gonna use it. Like you got to think. When I was in school, I was in the streets.
Yeah.
Like if they would have taught business then and how to invest in stocks, like I probably would have had stocks. Like I always say this all the time. If they would have taught business in school when I was in 7th grade, I'd have been a millionaire right now because I probably would have invested a couple hundred in Apple in
Right.
7th grade
Right.
because I was just always curious about business and all that. But they ain't teach
But
me.
you ain't know where to start.
I ain't know where to start.
Yeah, you familiar with the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite books.
And that's what he talks about, right? That's what the
Who was that?
the
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, yep. That's
Yeah.
what he talks about in the
Yeah,
book. He
yeah, I'm
says,
familiar with that.
you know, it's on purpose that they don't teach that in the educational system because they want to keep the
Purpose.
poor poor and the rich stay rich because they learn that in the household, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if my dad's wealthy, he's going to teach me about investing. He's going to teach me. But if my dad's poor, you know, what I mean, he's going to teach me like you got to get to work and pay these bills because you're constantly treading, trying to keep your head above water. So
Yeah.
you found time. So I say that to say it's not by mistake that they don't have them courses in school. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's not by mistake. That shit by design, man.
That shit by design.
Yeah,
But once you got
they don't want you to they don't want you they don't want to see you shine more than what they are.
yeah, they don't want you to get their money.
Yeah, they promote go to school and get an education but I'm like all the people I know that went to school and get an education, I don't want to be like them.
Right.
Like, what they got going for themselves?
Right. Nothing that appeals to you.
Nothing that appeal to me. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, how did you can't teach me how to get a motherfucking Mercedes Benz?
Right.
Like, you can't teach me how to fucking start a clothing line. You can't teach me how to, even before that,
like you said, your role models was Master P.
Master P and yeah, my role model was the people I listened to.
Right.
You know what I mean? They was my role models. I ain't
Right.
had no, you know, I had a couple street role models. You know what I mean? But for the most part, my role models was people I listened to, like CEO niggas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna get into that too, cause I know we're gonna get into that. You know, about the entertainment business and all that shit. And
Right.
but yeah, man, like I always wanted to be behind the scenes. I was always like everybody look a baby from Cash Money. I always wanted to be the Slim,
Yeah.
like a nigga you don't see, but he behind the scenes though.
Right. Pulling the strings.
Yeah, pulling the strings. I ain't never really wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, you ain't got to be in the forefront of that. Yeah,
I
no.
ain't my aspiration. I never said I want to be frontline rapper. Nigga, I want to be behind the scenes, funding this shit to make sure this shit work. You know what I mean? Because I know that, like, for instance, like Nas. Shout out to Nas, man. You know what I mean? I always wanted to see, he was the rapper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was the one who I wanted to put all this shit behind. Like, man, he's a GOAT.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
He got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't the one that was hating, like, I want to be it because I'm funding, I got the money, I can do it. Hell no. Nigga, this nigga got it.
You had the vision. You knew who to move where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's why me and him got a relationship right now that's like just crazy because he understands that.
Right.
He understands, like, come on now. I ain't never want to be I'm not no damn rapper.
Yeah. And he's also a dude who, you know what I mean, shout out to Nas from BA, man.
Yeah,
He's
shout out.
he's also someone who you know what I mean, understands being multifaceted because he has the brand, you know, he does the clothing. Not only does he do music, you know, and if y'all haven't had a chance to check out the episode, look at the episode with me and Nas from BA, and y'all can find out more about him.
That's dope.
For sure.
Seen that episode. That's dope.
Yeah, make sure y'all check that out.
Check that out, man.
But he's someone who does a lot of things himself. He learned how to do videos, so I can see how you two would get along because you're someone else who, if you want to do something, if you want to obtain something, you're gonna find a way to do it yourself. You're gonna find a way to figure it out. And like you said, even with music, you know what I mean? You know what I do with music. Y'all know what I do with music. And, you know what I mean? You were one of the first people from around our way to be on that music type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had the first studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I remember I had the first, before we had the studio in Youngstown, I remember I had the studio up in my grandma's crib in Uniontown.
Right.
Like, I had the drum machine. I had the digital recording studio where you can burn the CDs. Yeah, I was the first. You know what I'm saying?
And you, it wasn't a time where you can go to YouTube to figure out how to do it. It wasn't a time where you could go to
Google. You had to go
Google.
to school for that. You had to go to college.
Or you had to talk to somebody that was in it.
Yeah, the one on YouTube.
But and that's what you was doing. You was in it. You was in it early on, and that kind of showed your entrepreneurial spirit even then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, your idols were the people that you were listening to, so that's what you wanted to be a part of in that world. And it's funny because someone like P, you know what I mean, he pivoted. You don't hear P really making music, but he's still making plenty of money through fashion, through different through different businesses.
Exactly.
So when you seen that type of model, you seen that type of thing, you kind of adopted that into the fashion world as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, shit, yeah. You got to be able to pivot. I'm like, shit, that's the next thing.
Right.
That's the only thing I ain't conquered yet. I'm like, shit, why not do the fashion? I'm like, I'm seeing all these different brands and all that. We don't know them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, y'all know me. Like y'all can literally hit me up.
Right.
And be like, yo, I need this or I need that. Like,
so why not get behind it?
why not? Like, and I'm supporting the streets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm whatever y'all need, especially the people who know me.
Right. Holla at me, get at me.
Holla at me and get at me. That's nothing. Like, shit.
So you was in prison coming up with this plan. You knew you wanted to get into fashion.
Yeah.
What happened during that time? What hit you like, damn, let me go ahead and really try to formulate a plan? Was there a certain day? Did you see something on TV that day? Was it a conversation with one of the homies? Like, what hit you that said, yeah, let me get serious about this shit?
Nah, I think what made me get serious about it is because I had a lot of other businesses before that. And I'm like, nigga, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. So I can't, like, one thing about me is I have to sell something. Like, and that's another thing I say too is that when you're an entrepreneur or when you're a businessman, when you're in the streets, I'm like, when you come from the streets and you selling, to me, that's a skill.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a skill.
It's a skill. So you think I was going to abandon that skill just because I couldn't sell crack?
Right. I'm still going to use my skill set.
I'm still going to use my skill set and sell clothes then.
Right.
I'm not going to abandon my skill.
And I think that's the thing that people often mistake.
That's my skill. So that's like if how can I say it? So that's like, okay, so since I ain't selling crack, I ain't no hustler no more.
Right. Just a different hustle.
How many there's fucking thousands of things in the world to sell?
Right.
So I'm not just because I can't sell crack, oh, I'm not even no hustler no more, man. It's over.
Right.
I'm like, man, what? I'm about to sell this merch like it's crack.
Yeah, for real shit.
I'm about to sell this shit like it's dope, nigga.
Yeah. And that's the approach that you took
real
to it.
Shit.
Even in there.
Facts.
So you said even while you was down, you knew you was an entrepreneur. You knew that you had that in you.
I was born. You know what's so crazy is they got the question out there like you probably heard it before, but there's a question out there. They'd be like, is entrepreneurs born or are they made? Like that's the question.
How do you feel about that? Yeah.
And how I feel about it, I was a born entrepreneur. Like it just, I think I came out my mom's pussy. Like
knowing how to get some paper.
Yeah, I just want to be a hustler. It might have came from my mom, cause my mom was a hustler.
She knew how to get to the paper.
Yeah, cause I remember there'd be times where she was in the streets and me and my brothers and all that shit. There'd be times where we come home, there's $50 waiting for us. Like, who this from? Your mom. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't working, so obviously she was in the streets.
Yeah, getting to the paper.
You know what I mean? You know my mom, Judy.
Yeah,
you know
of
that.
course.
So
of course.
Yeah, so it's like I was just born a hustler. So do I think you can?
Do you think they're made or do you think they're born?
Yeah. Do I think you can make a hustler? I think. Do I agree? Yeah. I mean, I think.
You think you can make one too?
Yeah, I think I could. I think if I had somebody sit beside me,
if you had somebody green as hell next to you,
as a kid, green as hell, and I can just teach them, I think I can learn. I think I can teach somebody to be a hustler.
But that's what I was going to say, right?
I think I could.
So I think the common misconception from people is they think if you sell drugs that you just automatically going to make a lot of money. There's a lot of broke hustlers out there too, right?
A lot of broke hustlers. What?
Because it's not only about getting the money; it's about maintaining the money, right? It's about keeping the money and learn and having the money grow. And that's a skill set in itself. You were saying it's a skill set. That's a whole skill set within itself. So even in business, right? Like we see a lot of successful business owners. But for every one successful one, there's probably 100 that done failed.
100 that didn't make it. Because I always say, just because you sell something don't mean you a hustler.
Right.
Just because you in the streets and you sell a couple rocks, that don't make you a hustler, man.
Yeah. What you think defines hustle?
To me, I think what defines hustle is.
At this point in your life, how do you define hustle?
I define hustle is that you don't need nothing from nobody. Mm-hmm. Like you ain't dependent on nobody. Like you can, if you a hustler, you can fund everything you're doing yourself. Like to me, a true hustler can fund everything he's doing on his own.
Right.
Like I fund everything I'm doing on my own. Like I ain't had no investors. Ain't nobody investing real rich. I'm not saying that I wouldn't accept somebody saying, okay.
I see your vision. Let me put some money behind you.
I would accept it. I'd be like, hell yeah. But I was fortunate enough to where I had my own bread that I can invest in myself. So whether that happened or not, I'm still going to do it.
Have
I'm
you ever,
investing my own bread into this shit.
have you ever considered going to get investors?
Yeah, hell yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially people I fuck with. Why wouldn't I? Like this shit, and that's another thing about the misconception. Like, nigga, like that's like you. Like if you said, "Yo, Sky, I want to invest in," why wouldn't I? That's what they doing. Is Walmart, the stock market.
Yeah.
They got 1,000 people investing in stock.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Same
Like you
exact
investing
thing.
in Apple.
Yeah. Just
Apple
somebody,
don't need it, but Apple got thousands of investors.
they ain't turning you down.
They ain't turning you down. You can invest in it.
Yeah, they ain't turning down no money.
So why wouldn't I say if you want to invest in Real Rich? Hell yeah,
Yeah.
invest. You can be a stock owner in Real Rich.
Yeah.
Shit. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Shit, we probably expand. Shit, I might fuck around. If that happens, I might fuck around and be able to have brick and mortar stores. Cause I got investors now.
Is that something that you want? Is that what you want essentially? Like, what would be like a benchmarker for you to say, okay, this is now I'm getting somewhere. This is where I want to be with it. Is it a brick and mortar?
Yep. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. As of right now, because they always say, well, with social media and all that, you don't need a brick and mortar. But I think I want a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one. You know what I mean? I want at least one brick and mortar. I gotta have one.
Yeah.
Cause like I said, I know it's the social media age and all this shit. You don't really need it, but I gotta.
There's something about having your own physical piece of.
Yeah, just physical.
Yeah.
Like I gotta have at least one brick and mortar.
Right.
Like I gotta have one. So like, yeah. So that's right now. That's my aspiration, just to have at least one brick and mortar, and then after I have one,
you know it's gonna grow from there anyway.
yeah, you know what I mean. Even if it, yeah. So after that, cause I'm still gonna have the social media present, cause that's just where we're at right now. But
Right.
yeah, I need one.
Yeah. No, so that's dope. So you was in prison. You formulated the plan. You said this was part of your rehabilitation process. Really, was having a brand and doing it the way that you're doing it. Now that you're in it, is there any pitfalls that you didn't see? Is there anything that you wish that you wouldn't have done? Looking back on it, like, damn, if I can go back, I wouldn't have took that step. It was just an extra step for no reason.
You know what? To keep it all the way real with you, nah.
Yeah.
Because everything I did, it was a learning process.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
So
That's a great
I
answer.
truly have to say,
You need to bump your head once or twice.
Yeah. And I recommend bumping your head.
Yeah.
Because that's where you learn the most at.
Okay.
Like I learned more from bumping my head than I did just not bumping my head. So nah.
Absolutely. Everything was good.
Everything was
Worked out the way it was supposed
worked
to.
out the way it supposed to have to. I wouldn't change nothing I did. I'd be like, if I can go back, I wish I'd have bumped my head a little bit more. So I might know more shit.
Right.
You know what I mean right now. You know what I mean? But yeah, nope. I ain't got them stories. Like
Now I'm
real shit.
like, so I always find this interesting, right? Because let's say I want to start a merch brand, right? Let's say I want to start a brand of my own. Like I like to use opportunities to talk to people that's already doing it, already in that space. What's the minimum I can get in on as starting a brand if I want to start a brand? Like what would be the minimum buy-in for me?
Shit, under $1,000.
Under 1,000 to be successful and to turn a profit. I can do it with under $1,000.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start a brand right now for under $1,000. Right now, today. Yeah, easy.
I can source the clothes, get the image, all that stuff cracking.
Yeah, you can probably do that under $1,000. Yeah, cause like I said, you get your logo. Or get your name logo. That shit probably gonna cost $50 for a logo. You know what I mean? You ain't got to trademark the name off the bat.
Right.
You know that might cost like $600, but you ain't got to do that off the bat. But
then once I get that, then what do I do next? After I get the logo?
Get you a manufacturer.
Okay.
After that, get you a manufacturer. You know, but I would say
How do you know when the quality's good? How can I find out if the quality's good from the manufacturer?
they they got send you a sample.
Okay.
Yeah, like when you're dealing with a manufacturer, be like, I want a sample order. Like send me a couple of what you got samples, so I can see what's your quality like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
they,
can
and they don't have no
sample.
problem doing that typically.
No, they actually they
They prefer it.
prefer doing that, like so you can see what's going
It
on.
probably saves a lot of time and money for everybody involved. Yeah.
Plus, they're a manufacturer.
Yeah.
If they a big ass manufacturer, what's it to them to send you
A couple shirts.
a couple shirts to see
Yeah.
if you can see the quality?
Yeah.
That's easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, just do that and shit. You might start off with like me. I started off with hoodies. I think I paid $700 for 30 hoodies, and I had two colors. I had the Rolls Royce gray
Mm.
and the Rolls Royce black.
Yeah.
$700, 30. I had 30 hoodies.
Why'd you go with those colors?
Cause there's the color of the Rolls Royce.
Okay.
Cause you know Rolls Royce only got Pacific color,
Right. Yep. Yep.
and one of the Rolls Royce is gray. You see
Yeah, you see the gray
Rolls
ones
Royce
all. Yeah.
and a black one.
Damn. Okay. I ain't even think of that, bro.
Yeah, think
And
of it.
that's the thing. That's the thing
Yeah.
about it, right? They already gave you the business model. They already told you what people want.
Yeah,
Damn. I ain't even think of that.
yeah.
That's fire.
Simple as that.
So that business model of seeing, because you said luxury, you mentioned Rolls Royce. Like you like the, is that like what inspired a lot of this? Have you looked more into Rolls Royce, and the way they run business? Because I never even thought about the color waves before until you just said that.
Yeah, cause their colorways is cause what a lot of people don't know when you see blue Bentleys and this Bentley,
Those are custom,
they're custom.
right?
Yeah, but Bentley only got like Rolls Royce only got probably like two or three colors that they
They come
make.
in, yeah.
Yeah, so
Everybody else going to the shop with their
yeah,
shit
everybody else be like, once I get it, I'm gonna paint this bitch
because it's different.
purple,
Yeah,
or I'm gonna paint this bitch orange or
Yeah.
red. Like Rolls Royce don't do that. Like they customize that shit once they get it.
so you already knew from seeing their business model. This is what I'm doing because this is what I want luxury. I want people to see this and think luxury.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's like I got the black on now, the classic black, like the
Right.
black Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? That's their colors. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even fringing on their business because they're in a core business. I'm in a fashion.
yeah. You're in a whole different line,
I'm in a whole different line, so I'm not infringing on what they're doing.
right?
You know
They
what I
could
mean?
care
I'm
less.
just
They own, like you said, they own their vehicles.
they own their vehicles, yeah. And I own my clothing line, so it's two different fields.
And it's not even to say that you're doing what they're doing at all. It's just what inspired your motto.
What inspired it? Because
Yeah.
everybody, you got to be inspired by something.
Right. Right.
You got to be inspired by something.
Now,
I was inspired by that. And then a little caveat: when you see me in a Rolls Royce, you know I really made it.
yeah.
You be like, oh, he got a Rolls Royce now? Oh yeah, this nigga really made it. Cause that's my favorite car. Man.
Yeah.
I love Rolls Royce.
What was it?
There'll be some time where I sit at the crib and just pull up Rolls Royce. I'll be like, damn, these motherfuckers. Like all the amenities and shit. I wish I can do that to my merch. Like, okay, put in. Okay, they got the
Little pocket right here.
pocket right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You got the little. When it's cold outside, you got the little.
Warming
Heat
unit.
jet right
Yeah,
here.
right. Yeah.
But you know you can't do that with the merch. But yeah, man.
Shit, you might be the first motherfucker fuck around and do it though. Shit.
Yeah.
Even thinking that way, right? And it seems like that's important to your story. Is a lot of the stuff that you do, you have a clear vision in mind of where you want to go with it. It seems like you're very decisive about it. It seems like whenever you're going through the motions, like you know exactly where you want to go, where you want to be. Even when you talk about when you see me in a Rolls Royce, then you know what I mean. You clearly see where you want to end up at. Have you always been that way? Like when it came to even the streets or whatever you were doing, have you always had a clear path to where you wanted to go, or is that something that developed with growth and age and wisdom?
I'm gonna say yeah and no. I'm gonna say yeah and no because I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give you the no part first. I'm gonna say no because I did, but I didn't know at that time I did. But I'm gonna say yes because once I read, and this is a book I don't know if you read yet. You ever read Think and Grow Rich
I've heard of it. I haven't
by
read it. No.
Napoleon Hill?
Oh no, I have not.
that's a book you got to read.
Okay.
So
Think
I
and Grow
realized
Rich.
back then
Yeah.
I was thinking about it and all that shit, and it talks about manifesting it.
Festing, yeah, yep.
So I say yes because I manifested that. I'm like, yes, I did, but back then I didn't know that.
Yeah, you ain't know that's what you were doing. You didn't have a
Yeah.
name for it.
Yeah, that's why I say yes and no.
Right.
Cause
You was
there
doing
wasn't
it,
no
but you just
model.
ain't have a name
There
for
wasn't no
it.
books back then. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
But now that I say yes now because I'm like, now when I read that, I'm like, yeah, I did.
No, that's a good point, and that's why it's important to read for that reason, and that reason being one of the best, because I thought of this myself. Um, I read this book, The Four Agreements, where I was listening to the
Four
audio book of the
Agreements?
Four Agreements, right?
I gotta check that out.
And like a lot of the concepts and mottos of the book were things that I already felt, but I just never knew how to verbalize it. I didn't know how to put it in words. Like you're saying with this book, Think and Grow Rich, it was some of the stuff that you probably already knew as a child, but they put it in the words. You can actually start to see it.
Exactly.
And once again, we're talking about manifestation, right? Once you can articulate it and say and put a name to what you're trying to do, it becomes a lot easier to achieve
I
that thing.
realized it. Like, oh damn, I was really on that back then, but I didn't know.
I didn't know what to call it.
Yeah, I didn't know what to like. That's like I didn't know what to call entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Who was saying entrepreneur back then?
Right. And that's why guys like P, guys like Baby, dudes like Suge, even, what I mean,
Sure.
that was doing it back then. They showed us the way. They showed us that ownership was important. They showed us that, what I mean, like
Fact.
when I started hearing about rappers talking about owning their masters, that because that became a big movement, right? Like, I want to own my masters. Shout out to Prince, what I mean, he was big on that.
Shout out to Prince, man. Rest in peace, Prince,
Yeah,
man.
he was big on that. Like he said, he didn't even
Shout
work
out
with
to
people.
Michael Jackson. Rest R.I.P.
Yeah, he owned other people's masters, right?
Yeah, real shit.
But Prince was big. He didn't even work with artists who didn't own their masters.
I remember I seen something like that too, to where who was it? Usher or some artist. They was like they want to do a song with Prince,
And he
and
asked
then Prince was like, asked him like, "You own your master?"
Yep.
And they were like, "No." And Prince was like, "Well, I can't do the song.
I can't do nothing with you.
Yeah. It's like,
So yeah, no. So it makes sense that you had that mentality, that you knew that's where you wanted to go with it, because you were looking at guys who were kind of laying that path, and like you said, we didn't know what to call it, but we see it being done, and we know that's a part of us and a part of what we want to do. So once you get a book, you start reading that, you start putting it in the words, and you're like, okay, this whole time I was really just looking at return on investment, but I didn't know to call it return on investment.
yeah, I ain't know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know it was a ROI. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
You
like
know what I
all
mean?
them, like, and that's what I'm saying. Them acronyms like ORI and all that shit.
Yeah.
We ain't know nothing about that. What the fuck is ORI?
Yeah.
I'm like, return on investment, man. It's like, we ain't, like, I did not know that. And then that's like I said, like, that's why I went back, that's why I started taking them college
Went
courses.
back to school, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I started taking them college courses.
You still
I'm
in the
like,
process of that?
yeah, actually, I graduated. The first college course I took was business. I graduated that already. But right now, I took another course, which was, this is some game for y'all too, is I took accounting.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I seen too many people getting jerk off at accounting shit.
So you wanted to figure out how to run your money.
Yeah, run my money, but like, make sure I ain't getting jerked. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Because these accountants, and that's another thing.
They're like mechanics. If I don't know how to do the work, you can tell me whatever.
Yeah, it's like I'm coming in here and like, okay, like, I don't know nothing about it. I at least want to be, one thing about me, anything I get into, I want to know at least the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything else. Like if you playing sports, I want to know the fundamentals.
Want to know how to do the layup.
Yeah. So I don't need to know everything about accounting, but I want to know the fundamentals.
Right.
To where I know, like, man, y'all ain't jerking me.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I ain't paying too much taxes on this and on that. Cause I pay my taxes. Like, come on, man, I do all that shit.
That's good game right there.
But I don't want them to take advantage of me though.
Right.
So
No, that's good game right there. You're independent business. You got to pay taxes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure they ain't taking advantage of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I took. So right now I'm in the process of I'm in college. Shout out to Stratford Career Institute, to where I'm taking my courses at. You know what I mean? I'm taking accounting. So yeah,
You
man.
learn the game from
So,
the inside out.
So
Yeah.
don't try to jerk me, nigga, because I know the business, man.
Yeah.
Don't try to take advantage of me.
Yeah, and like we said, we liken it to music, right? Like how many artists do you hear about? We thinking real rich, right? No pun intended. We thinking they real rich, but they really ain't. They ain't got no paper like they be showing they got, because they didn't know how to take care of their business.
Yeah.
They didn't know how, they might got the biggest hit in the world. They ain't getting $1 off it because they ain't know how to take care of their business.
Yeah, we see it all the time.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Shit. Fucking how many artists again got fucking
damn near all of
Ja
them, bro.
Rule?
Yeah, all of them.
Or Ja Rule went to jail for fucking taxes?
Tax evasion, yeah.
Shit, man, like how many artists got jerked from taxes?
Yeah, because they
ain't
know about it.
Yeah, it's like man, I'm not trying to be at that stage, cause we see it already.
We seen it, yeah.
Like if I see
just like we seen the success, we seen the falls too.
We seen the fall, so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the news, be like, oh, Real Rich made it, he owed $1 million in
right.
back taxes.
Yeah.
What?
Done fucked up your whole lifestyle.
Yeah, like hold up, man, $1 million? Nah.
Need that. No, so what can we expect coming up from you, in a Real Rich brand? Like, what can we look forward to? I know it's summertime. You probably got that summertime shit cracking.
Yeah. You can expect. I got the summertime merch on deck, but you can expect my next drop is look forward to them Real Rich jackets. I'm coming with the jacket. I never had them before, so that's the next thing that's on my plate.
What made you want to come out with the jackets?
Cause I ain't never did jackets.
Just to cross another thing off the list.
Cross another thing off the list. Like I said, I did socks, boxers, everything you can.
You want to have the whole attire.
Yeah. I ain't never did jackets.
Okay.
So jackets are coming next, and just look out for me to doing more pop-ups.
Okay.
Because like Monessen, there's like the what is it, the Mon Valley?
The Mon Valley, yeah, yep.
Like I got love in the Mon Valley. You know what I mean? So I want to do more pop-ups in person, like in the Mon Valley area. Shout out to Monessen. Monessen, I'm coming soon.
Yeah.
Forgive me, my bad. You know what I mean? I ain't exactly mobile yet, so but once I get super mobile, you know, I'm there.
Right.
But just doing more pop-ups in person, man. The Mon Valley, Charleroi, all that shit. Even in the Burg, motherfucking Homestead, Clareton. Like the Mon Valley, just outside, because them places always get overlooked.
They do, yeah.
But, man, I swear to God to you, man, there's a bunch of real niggas in them areas, man.
Yeah.
There's probably more real niggas in them areas than there is in the city, man.
Right.
But people just...
They're built different.
Yeah, but people just look at them, y'all not from a certain geographical area.
So they sleep on them.
So they sleep on them. Like me, I'm from Connersville, bro.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize that, like, it ain't where you from, it's how you come, man.
Right.
Like, I'm a real nigga. Like, nigga don't know there's real nigga that came from that area.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of us.
They sleeping.
Yeah, they sleeping, man.
Yeah.
Like, they sleeping like this, man. Like, come on, man. We've been doing this shit for a minute, man.
No, for sure. And I think you're waking them up, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I love what you're doing with the brand. You know what I mean? I see you constantly working. And I love the innovations. You know what I mean? The shit looks dope. I like them socks right there for sure.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
I'm mad as hell I forgot that package in my daughter's car.
Oh, no, it's all good.
Yeah, because I had a hat for you and some socks. I actually had the blue ones for you.
Yeah,
but you know me, I'm rustling around, and I had my granddaughter today. Yeah. You know, it's my kid's birthday, July 5th.
Yeah, for sure. Happy birthday to them.
Yeah. But I got you, though, bro. Yeah. I got you something on deck. Don't even worry.
And I'm going to rock it here, too.
Yeah.
Gonna come in looking right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, one more time, tell them how to get a hold of you on the socials if they wanna follow you, they wanna get a hold of some merch. You know what I mean? If y'all got a brick and mortar, man, go ahead and put some of this up in there.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
How can they do that? How can they find you?
You can find me on IG, and my IG is RR Fashion 1000. You know, you can hit me up on there, DM me. You know what I mean? You can see all my drops and all that shit on there.
For sure.
Now the website is coming soon. I'm just in the process of
revamping it.
Yeah. But the website coming soon. So, but for now, RR Fashion 1000, man, hit me up. And Yeah, just go to that, man.
Yeah, man, we're gonna
Yeah, that'll
definitely
be
keep
official.
we definitely gonna keep on posted with everything you're doing. You know what I mean? If you got something else going on, you're always welcome on the
Yeah,
Marley State of Mind podcast, bro. You already know how we getting
man,
down.
I appreciate it, man. You always show me love,
Yeah,
man.
man. Always. I'm
You
gonna
always
do
show me
that.
love, and I want to give you your props too, man. You know, 223 Marley, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? You've been wearing that banner, man, for a while, man. And I'm proud of you, man. I ain't never abandoned that. It just I'm trying to figure out a way to where I can do it to where we can scale it to where it makes sense. Like,
Right.
cause we want to take it from the block to something bigger.
Somewhere different.
But I'm still a 223 nigga from the heart
For
to
life.
the bone gristle. That shit
For
tatted
life.
on me, man.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You know what I mean? That shit don't stop with me, man. So I just want to give you your flowers and say I see you, man, and
I
keep doing what
appreciate
you're doing.
I
Keep
appreciate
doing these
that.
podcasts, and man, sky's the limit for you, bro.
Yeah, man, and like I said, for me, it's selfish, but at the same time, it's selfless when it comes to this. You know, it's important. I told you before we started rolling the cameras. It's important. I feel for us to have a platform for people to hear our story. I think sometimes people see something they really don't understand what it is or where it came from. And when we have an opportunity to tell our story, people become invested in it and they want to see us win because they're like, damn, that story sounds
Right.
like mine. You know, that story sounds like my brother's story. That story sounds like my mom's story. You know what I mean? And then they get invested into the journey and they really want to be a part of what we got going on. So for me, like I said, it's selfish and selfless. Like I love to do this. And it allows me an opportunity to network with good people and to spread my network. And I can, make other things happen for other people. But it also allows me another vehicle to obviously make content and things like that for myself as well. But it's really about the
Right.
people that I'm able to bring on and have tell their story and man, I look forward to seeing more of yours. I know it's plenty more to come.
Oh man,
When
most
that when
definitely.
that when that rose come in though, bro, you gotta come in.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull down here. I'm gonna spend you in time with the roads. I
Yeah,
might not be driving. I'm gonna be in the back
back.
seat,
Yeah,
man.
why
Cause if I
not?
drive, they're gonna be like, man,
Yeah,
yeah, man. But yeah, man, it's coming, man. It's just manifestation. You know, you got to speak it into existence.
and that's what it is. And
So
we
I'm gonna come
definitely
down here with the Rolls Royce.
we
How they
doing
said,
that.
speaking into existence.
Yeah, and we going live from the back of the rose.
Live from the back of the roads, man.
That's how we gonna do it
Live
next
from the
time.
back of the roads with the stars on the motherfucking ceiling and
You
shit,
feel
man.
me? That's how we're gonna do it next time, man. But until then, man, y'all make sure y'all stay up on the Marley State of Mind podcast, the world's dopest podcast. We're down here at a bunch of Bull Studios every Saturday, doing it real big with special guests like my man Skyloc, man. Until then, make sure y'all check us out. Like, subscribe, share, comment, please. We love that type of stuff. Until next time, we out of here. Peace.